Hi guys, it's Miss Wood. I'm going to go over how to annotate your rhetorical analysis essay so that we can make some really strong and impactful revisions. So let me share my screen. Here we go. So this is the first document that you are going to see in the assignment that's in Google Classroom. We have our step-by-step instructions. It's going to tell you exactly what to do. So we have our day one steps with some annotation instructions, some revision steps, including some homework, and then our day two steps. So let's follow these step by step, and we will make sure that we understand exactly what to do. I forgot I have fixed this already. Okay, so this is an example of a student essay from last year. Last year's topic was gender and American identity. So it's different. This year we're talking about pop culture, obviously. So the first thing I notice is that the student hasn't used proper MLA formatting. So I'm going to format it correctly. So they've got Arial. You can use Arial or Times New Roman. We've got 12-point font. That's good. So let's do double space. And I'm going to delete this space. Now, for annotation purposes, I'm going to put a space in between our paragraphs because that's going to make it easier for us to see the chunks of information that we have. When we are doing our final draft, we're going to want to make sure that we don't have that space there and instead use an indentation. Okay, so I've got that. Now, we also need to have on here our name, my name, our course number, and then the date. Ah, I can't type date. Okay, so now we've got it formatted correctly. Let's see what we need to do. So purple is where I clearly explain the author's argument. So let's look and see. Ben Shapiro, I'm going to go ahead and fix that, is known as a guy who argues with people about things he believes are right. And he is so passionate about it that he leaves others feeling like they can't have an opinion on what he is stating. And that's why his way of winning an argument, and that's his way of winning an argument because he is very persuasive about what he is saying. And in this video, he claims the things he believes are right and wrong in marriage between a man and a woman. Now, this is one big run-on sentence, and it has some other issues in it, but that's not what I'm looking for right now. I'm looking for where they outline the author's claim. In this video, he's talking about marriage between a man and a woman and what religious institutions state a man and woman should have and how religion plays a huge part in someone's marriage because somehow the Bible will always be brought up by one or the other. He also states how society does not care if one has sex with the person they live with because it does not benefit society. Now, this is a summary, but it's not exactly the argument because it's not clear that this is what he's arguing in the video. So I'm going to keep this one in mind and I'm going to read on a little bit more to see if they get a more clear claim here. Marriage is usually based on family formation and family structure when in reality it's really portrayed as a valence association that you make with another human being. That doesn't mean you shouldn't be a family and have very strong structure, but it's mostly about the type of bond you make with another human being in a very intimate way. The way they portray marriages is to be one of the issues Ben Shapiro is trying to get across is the fact that it doesn't necessarily need to be that type of situation between two, especially in a religious way, as people make it seem like it has to be. With that being said, he's trying to inform other people on what he believes marriage should be projected as. And if you're genuinely in a committed marriage with one another, you shouldn't let someone tell you how to handle your relationship. I think that's the closest I've seen, so I'm going to make that purple. Ooh, that's too dark. Let's go light purple. Okay. Okay, we got purple. Now let's look for ethos, logos, and pathos. So ethos is going to be orange. Some people state that if you're in a committed relationship, you should allow others to be out and open how they want to be. People always go based off of how people want others to act, and they go based off others' opinions. And that is the biggest issue that he is trying to get people across the world to understand, due to other beliefs that a lot of, I think that's supposed to be people in the world have, especially about different types of marriages, such as gay marriage, whether it be two women or two men. People shouldn't be able to victimize others' actions for what they want them to do. Just because some people don't like certain religious beliefs in marriages is their business. Nobody should judge a situation they are in, especially if they aren't married. Now, I'm not sure if this is the author's, like my student's opinion, or if this is Ben Shapiro's opinion. In the video, he states that marriage is religiously a certain aspect that people should follow, and Ben Shapiro disagrees with that due to him looking at people to tell others that, but from them outside perspective, and that is why he stands and wants others to understand that that is wrong and people should go on with their marriage as they please. Okay. Due to being married couples, judging others is the issue that society has, because if one is getting judged based off how they look and act as a married couple, they will take those opinions and brush them off into another person's relationship. And that is unacceptable due to the fact that other people go through the same thing daily, and that genuinely messes with people's mentality within their relationship. Ben Shapiro states that married couple is to do as they please and work within the ethic they have built as a united couple. One cannot tell you that you cannot do so and so with your partner. When being married, your life changed completely, not as just one, but as two people who are giving themselves in a way that you are willing to be very, very vulnerable and very out there with your partner. And not one opinion should bother and change whether you choose to do so and so with. In conclusion, to me explaining the thoughts of what is going on in the video, he just wants to get the thought of how people should look at marriages, marriage couples, and the certain roles that should be played when being judged and looked at a certain way. Marriage isn't to be looked at as a book to judge right away because of the looks of how it goes on for one another, and religiously if something that people should acknowledge. Okay, that was a whole big word salad. And honestly, I did see some references to what Ben Shapiro said, but I don't really see any clear outlining of his argument. So I really can't say where they use ethos, pathos, and logos. So here's what I'm going to do is this is kind of the ethos, right? Ben Shapiro is known as a guy who argues with people about things. Now, this is horribly vague, very, very vague. Whoops. This is like, who does he argue with? What are they arguing about? Um, I need a lot more context, because maybe is he arguing about, which are the best shoelaces? I have no idea. We need a better introduction to who Ben Shapiro is. The other thing you might have noticed is that there is no reference or citation here to the video itself. So I did a little bit of looking before I started making this video, and there's so many videos of Shapiro talking about marriage that I don't know which one this one is. So make sure you cite your source, okay? Because maybe this has some strong points in it, but I can't connect them to the source because I don't know what the source is. So here, which appeal is weakest? I'm going to say ethos needs to be more specific. Who exactly is Ben Shapiro, and who does he debate? We also have logos. So I understand from this essay that Shapiro uses religious arguments, which would be a logos appeal. So what religious documents does he refer to? Or does he refer to legal judgments? Because right now, oh, here. So right now, it just looks like a bunch of kind of opinions about people doing whatever they want and don't judge people, which is great. But we know that if someone is a well-known pontiff like Ben Shapiro, he's going to use something to back up his opinions. And unfortunately, this essay didn't really bring up any of his supporting evidence. And then with pathos, um, what emotions is he evoking in the audience? So is he trying to make people feel mad about marriage? Is he trying to make people feel good about marriage? Is he trying to get people to, um, you know, feel like they should do something? I'm not quite sure what feelings it is that he's trying to use to motivate his audience. So synthesis, there's really not much synthesis here. No, the essay needs to do more to clearly explain Shapiro's claims and evidence and how they work together. The argument is not clearly stated, unfortunately. Use less vague words, use quotes from the text. And then this is also with analysis. The analysis is really vague. In some portions, I'm not quite sure what the student is talking about here. So it's vague. It needs to So one thing, if you're using a video, if you used a video, you need to refer back to timestamps. We don't have page numbers, we don't have paragraphs in a video, so you need to use timestamps. So at what point in the video did he say something? And then also connect the video to the larger social context. So why do we care what Ben Shapiro says about marriage? I don't know who he is. I don't know why people are listening to him. I don't know why I should care what he says. This essay has done none of that. So this is going to need some major revisions. Okay, so once you've looked at it yourself and identified where you have things and kind of thought about your own essay, next is where you're going to get the feedback from your grader and do the revision worksheet. So I've already put in some feedback here. So I'm using Kami because I think we uploaded a PDF into Google Classroom. So here's the first piece of feedback. Analyze author's purpose to help your readers see how all writing is part of an ongoing conversation. So that's that larger context. Be sure to examine both the author's purpose and intended audience. Successful writers shape their message with a specific audience in mind, investing them with certain values, beliefs, and knowledge. However, the actual reader may interpret the text differently depending on their own perspective and context. Analyzing who and why behind the communication will give useful information in determining whether the author was successful in their use of ethos, pathos, and logos. For more information, review page 1.11 on the high school course. So, for example, if we knew what video this student was writing about, we could see what's the platform, who is Shapiro talking to. If I remember correctly, he has his own podcast or own web show. So he might be talking to his own audience. In that case, it's probably people who agree with him. I think he does videos or interviews with people like Joe Rogan. So if he's on Joe Rogan, the audience is going to be a little bit more diverse. Sometimes he debates people who do disagree with him. If then we need to know what kind of audience is in that video. So we need better context around the situation. And we need to be able to say who is the audience he's speaking to in that video, because that's not necessarily who's watching it now. So let me see if I can say this concisely, because I just said a mouthful. So I need to of the conversation around same-sex marriage in America. So why is this important now? Because I'm sure there are some people who are saying, hey, same-sex marriage is legal. Like, why are we still talking about it? So in this sense, we would need to explain, well, maybe to some people the conversation is not over. There might be some people who are afraid that the legality of same-sex marriages might be in question. So I need to explain that. I need to set that up. I also need to better introduce Ben Shapiro, who he is, what his values are, and the context of the video. So we need to know who the audience is for that video, what they believe, and because that'll determine whether or not he's talking to a hostile or a sympathetic audience. Okay, so what would you change about the paper based on these comments? Be specific examples. So I will add an introduction about the controversy surrounding same-sex marriage. Yeah, in America. After that, I will introduce Ben Shapiro and explain who he is and how he fits into the conversation. I think that's going to be, then I will examine the venue in the video and identify the audience and their values. So 3 paragraphs, 3 different things. So controversy, speaker, and venue. So how do you think the proposed changes will benefit the reader? Well, this is going to be a huge change, okay? This is going to help the reader understand the controversy more clearly. They will know why it is important now, why we should care about what Shapiro has to say, and be better able to follow my analysis of his speech. Okay. So then you're going to do the same thing with your second revision goal. If you have feedback from the grader, you're going to follow that and you're going to be doing basically the same thing. If you are doing a second chance submission, you're going to use these that I'm going to give you, okay? But it's going to be these same ones, all right? Because we're just going to assume that this is what you need to work on. So this is analyze different uses of logos. The third one is expand on specific emotions. This is pathos. So this is going to guide you more specifically in your revisions. So I know generally here it's going to be about being more specific, but this helps me know what specifically I need to get specific about. Now, you might need more than what is just on these 3 revision goals, but start here, okay? If you can do these 3 revision goals from either your grader or the ones that I'm going to give you that are these guys, you're going to have some substantial revisions, okay? I'm going to make another video that explains the second part, okay, after you're done with the revision worksheet. But for now, what I want you to do is go through. Okay, I had to stop because there was a very long announcement. Okay, so you're going to read through your essay. You're going to highlight where you've explained your argument, where you analyze ethos, logos, and pathos. Now, if you don't have those, you know you've got a lot of work to do. Okay, you should at least have an outline of the argument. If you haven't even done that, then we really, really have a lot of work to do. Then you're going to do your revision goals worksheet. This is going to be your goal for before the end of class, okay? If you get done with this, which if you're focused, you should be able to, then you're going to start revising based on those revision goals. Then you're going to have homework. I just read the word highlight. So what you're not highlighting are grammar, word swaps, or MLA formatting, okay? I just want to know what text, what portions and content you're adding. So yellow is going to be new, green is where you go deeper into what you already have, and then blue is synthesis. Okie dokie. Hopefully that is a little bit less confusing than just having to read it. We are going to go over it in class, but you can use this video to help you if you go home and you forget what it is you're supposed to do. Okay, so as always, reach out to me. You can email me, you can text me on Remind, you can message me through Google Classroom. You can stop by my room and tell me if you have an issue or you need help with something. Reach out to me. Please don't be on the struggle bus alone. I'm here to help you. It's literally why they pay me. All right, guys. Happy revising. Bye.